Well, hello there. This is Canadian author Mary M. Cushnie-Mansour, your writer on the run. And as promised, over the next few days during the Christmas season, I'm going to step away from some of my more educational videos, and I'm going to do some Christmas stories. This one today is called Sophie's Christmas, and it is a story that will warm your heart. It's one that I wrote a few years ago for the newspaper, and it's also in my book, From the Heart, a collection of short stories. So let's get started. Sophie's Christmas. Sophie leaned back in her rocking chair and sighed heavily. It was going to be another lonely Christmas. Harold had been gone for 10 years, and her 3 children were scattered around the world. They hadn't been to visit the past 5 Christmases. In fact, she hadn't even heard from any of them for months. Sometimes she wondered if they had forgotten her and all that she had ever done for them. The intercom system announced the activities. A carol sang in the activity room. Typically, Sophie attended the activities, but not today. She glanced out her window. It was starting to snow, light flakes floating down, winter finally getting his grip. She pulled a coverlet from her bed and tucked it around her legs. She was always cold lately. "You not coming to the carol sing?" a raspy voice questioned. Sophie looked up and saw Charlie. He kept trying to get her special attention. "Don't feel like it today," she replied as politely as she could. "I'll miss you." "Then miss me." Sophie turned back to her window. Charlie shuffles away. "One man in my life was enough for me," she mumbled. She pressed the play button on her CD player, leaned back in her rocker, and closed her eyes. Carla picked up the phone and called her twin brother Lance. She hoped he would agree with her plan. Their younger sister, Renee, had been difficult to convince, but eventually she had conceded, especially when Carla had said she would pay. Renee always pled poverty. Carla always had more than enough. Lance picked up on the 5th ring. "Hello?" It was so good to hear his voice. "Hi, Lance. Carla here." "Carla, wow! Good to hear from you. How are things?" "Not bad. You?" "Great! I'm working on a project. Hopefully have it completed before Christmas." Lance paused. "How are you and Wade doing?" "He left." "Sorry." "Don't be." "You sound like Mother," Lance accused. "If I had a little more of Mother in me, I might not have such a problem hanging on to a man." Carla sounded bitter for a moment. "Anyway, I didn't call to discuss my love life. I called about Mother. I thought that maybe this Christmas we could surprise her with a visit. It's been a while." "Sorry, sis. Tanya surprised me on my birthday with tickets to a resort in the Bahamas. We celebrate with the kids on Christmas Eve. Tanya and I leave on Boxing Day. Why don't you and Renee go?" he suggested. "We are. I was hoping you'd come too. I have an eerie feeling, like before Dad died. Mother will be 90 in January." "Tell you what, ring me when you get there, and we can do a conference call," Lance suggested. "Sure, Lance. You and Tanya work hard. You deserve a holiday. I'll give Mother a hug for you." "That would be nice. Thanks, sis." Renee wasn't happy about being coerced into going to Canada for the holidays, especially to see her crusty old mother, whom she had never gotten along with. But Carla was paying, and Renee didn't really have anything better to do. Maybe she'd look up some old school chums while she was in Brantford. She began packing. "Sophie, I wish you'd come to the Christmas Eve service." Charlie stopped at Sophie's door. "It's Christmas. You shouldn't be alone." I'll be alone even if I go. Nobody there of any importance to me, Sophie returned harshly. I'll be there, Charlie smiled. Your point being? Sophie limped over to Charlie. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to close my door. She returned to the rocker, pulled the blanket around her, and closed her eyes. Why am I so miserable? Probably because not one of them has even called. The words gurgled through the tears in her throat. May as well sleep, maybe forever. The snow was falling in thick sheets. Most flights into the Hamilton airport had been cancelled. Carla and Renee had been lucky to connect with the last one that had flown in early on Christmas morning. Renee was pouting as she grabbed her suitcase. We shouldn't have come. You won't regret it, Renee. This may be the last Christmas we will have Mother with us. Remember Dad? None of us could make it home the Christmas before he died. Don't guilt me, Carla. Mother will outlive us. Why so bitter? Because nothing I ever did pleased her. You and Lance were her favorites. Not true. Mother had to be tough. She was harsh on us all. Actually, you got away with a lot more than Lance and I ever did. Renee snorted and headed to the door. Carla followed and hailed a taxi. What should have been a half-hour drive took an hour in the heavy snow. At the hotel, the cab driver unloaded their bags and wished them a Merry Christmas. I'll call Lance when we are on our way to Mother's, so we can arrange a time for the conference call, Carla said. She was puzzled. Lance didn't answer his cell phone. Can I help you, sir? Could you tell me if Sophie Baker's daughters are here? Haven't seen anybody come in for Sophie this morning. In fact, the nurse continued, I haven't seen Sophie yet. Do you know what room? Lance! A familiar voice called out. You are here! Lance turned at his sister's voice. I thought about what you said, Carla. Mother might not be here next Christmas. Who said I wouldn't be here next Christmas? Sophie's voice entered the foyer. Her cane dropped to the floor as she embraced her 3 children. Carla, Renee, and Lance each kissed their mother on the cheek and wished her a Merry Christmas. Even Renee's eyes were brimming as she embraced the now frail woman who had once been so strong. Sophie's tears ran unashamedly. There were no words that could express her joy on that, her last Christmas morning. So there we have Sophie's Christmas. Remember, everyone, if you have a loved one in a nursing home or, just living on their own somewhere and you haven't seen them for a while, remember that they would love to see you. Put bygones back in the corners where they belong and lock them up, because we never know when it will be our last Christmas. Have a wonderful day. Merry Christmas, one and all, and I hope you've enjoyed Sophie's Christmas. Let me know. Comment below. Thank you so much for listening. Take care. Bye-bye for now. See you soon.